Brings us on to question 4, which is when should you take it? Should you take it first thing in the morning? Should you take it with your lunch? Should you take it pre-workout? Should you take it post-workout? Simon Miller, Bald A-Hole here. Thank you for joining me as always. I appreciate you and I appreciate every single thing you have in your life. As you can see, over the last few days, been doing a little bit more instructional videos when it comes to the gym. I don't know what that means. I'm just saying words. They're just coming out of my mouth. But a lot of people ask me a lot of questions, a lot of specific questions. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't go through them one by one and turn them into YouTube videos. And without a doubt, the most popular supplement that everybody always wants to go on about is creatine. Now, I'm not allowed to say it because people get mad. Look, I'm British, right? So we pronounce it creatine. But I think it's also pronounced creatine. I don't know. These are the lungs and the speech box I was giving, and I can't change it now. I'm too old. So you're just going to have to deal with it and go, give me in the comments. But yes, how to use creatine properly. Now, the big thing you need to remember is that there is enough research, there's enough studies out there to prove that it absolutely is a supplement that is worth your time. It's going to help you in the gym, it's going to help your performance, it's going to help your progress, and it's going to help you with your muscle gainage, I suppose is the best way to put it. Now, it's not a miracle drug. You're not going to go to bed after one day of creatine and wake up the next day and go, oh, bro, look, I look absolutely amazing. But if you can stomach it, because obviously all products come with side effects and it's not going to screw you up inside. If you can stomach it, it's absolutely something that you want to introduce into your workout training regime. And here's how I personally think you should take it. So the first thing you do when you start looking for creatine is you're going to find out that there is a ton of variants. The most popular and the cheapest one is creatine monohydrate, but there's other variants as well, such as creatine HCl and one called ester ethyl, I believe, or ethyl ester, something like that. There are loads. Now, all I'm going to say about all of these, because I don't want to go through every single one because I think it's pointless essentially, is that the one that has had the most research and the one that has the most studies, and again, the one that's going to save you money in your wallet is creatine monohydrate. Now, if you take creatine monohydrate and you find you're not getting on with it and you want to try a few of the other ones before you just decide, you know what, I can't handle it, then that to me is the only time you should start experimenting. Find the one that works for you best. But again, because it's saving me money and because it's the simplest and most effective, I always stick with creatine monohydrate. And if you'd ask me, Simon, what's your opinion? I would recommend for you this as well. Which brings us to the next question, which is how much of creatine should you be taking? My answer for you is I would suggest 5 grams of creatine monohydrate every single day. Now, some people suggest you go on a loading phase, and the whole point of a loading phase is you up it to around about 20 grams for around about, I don't know, 10 to 15 days, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less, because it's going to get into your bloodstream faster. But my point is this, if you've decided you're going to take creatine anyway, and you're going to be on it for the rest of your life, you don't need to worry about it getting in your bloodstream faster. It's going to get there eventually. Okay, sure, maybe it takes 10, 12, 20 days longer than it would do otherwise, but the last thing you want to do is burn through a bunch of creatine, maybe suffer a bunch of side effects that you wouldn't have had to have suffered otherwise, and once again spend more money because you're going to go through that first batch of creatine pretty damn fast. So just save your money and take 5 grams every single day. It really is that simple. Unless you have some kind of goal you're trying to work towards that meant you needed to saturate your muscles in creatine within 20 days, then sure, go nuts. But don't take 20 grams all at once. That's absolutely nuts. Take 5 grams here and 5 grams there and 5 grams here and 5 grams here. Nobody should be sticking 20 grams of creatine down their gullet. But of course, because most of the things on the back of the boxes, they want you to do that for obvious reasons. We'll just say, oh, take 20 grams. You've got people basically sticking it up their ass. Don't stick it up your ass. Because if nothing else, do not forget, if you do oversaturate your muscles in creatine, your body doesn't go, oh, I better find a place to use it. No, you crap it out. You crap it out. It comes out of your ass and it's no longer in your body to begin with. So again, going back to the financial aspect, you're literally shitting money down the toilet, and that is just a waste of your life and a waste of your time. Which brings us to question number 3, or I think it's 3, I haven't really been keeping count, which is, well, how do I get it into my system, or how do I drink it? And the answer is, however the hell you want. There's all this stuff out there that says, oh, you got to drink it with this kind of drink, or you got to drink it with that kind of drink. No, you do not. Just put creatine in your system. If you want to mix it with water, mix it with water. If you want to mix it with some kind of fruit juice, do it with that. Mix it with your whey protein. Maybe you're going to take it in your pre-workout. Obviously, loads of pre-workouts have creatine in it these days. Just figure out what best for you, what settles your stomach the most, or, you know, whatever it may be, and go down that route. There is no magical way of making creatine more effective. And maybe you can get it into your bloodstream quicker if you take it with a sugary drink or something like that, or you take it with carbs or protein or blah, 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 blah. But it's so negligible, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it, so don't worry about it. Brings us on to question 4, which is when should you take it? Should you take it first thing in the morning? Should you take it with your lunch? Should you take it pre-workout? Should you take it post-workout? And actually, there is a lot of information out there to suggest that the best times would either be before your workout or after your workout, and this makes sense for many reasons. Which of course is because you're about to go into the gym and use this supplement as the way it's as intended, which again, this is why loads of pre-workouts now have creatine in it, because I understand, it's going to be beneficial and it's going to make these people feel even better in the fitness palace of love, and the better it makes you feel, the more likely you are to buy that product again. So that's when I would take it. I take it pre-workout, I just think it works for me best, but if you want to take it after you work out with your meal or your shake, or literally as soon as you're leaving the gym, you should do it. And I would actually say, in terms of the whole anabolic window, if you are taking it in post-workout, it's probably more important to get it in your system more than sort of say protein. Again, you need to have a big meal. This magical thing about, if you don't have protein within 30 minutes, you've wasted your session is not true. But trying to get creatine in that time frame, actually probably a little bit of a benefit. But do not forget, again, this is the way to make the most of it. If you do take it at 12:07 p.m. and then you don't train till 8 o'clock that night, you're still going to feel the effects and you're still going to feel the benefits of it. So it's not a worry. And now, of course, you're moving on to the next question. You're like, but what about on days when I don't train? Well, just take it whenever. You're not training. It doesn't matter. Moving on to question number 5, I've completely lost count, is, well, should I cycle it? Now, you can cycle it. So you go on creatine for, say, 10 weeks, then you take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks off, and then you start with it again. And I suppose if you are doing that, maybe you would want to load it, right? Because you do want to get it in your system quicker because you know you have an endpoint. But I don't see the point of loading it. I would just stick with the whole 5 grams a day. And actually, I should say here, some people may need a little bit more of 5 grams a day, and some people may actually need a little bit less of 5 grams a day, but only you can answer that one. You're just going to see how it goes. But in terms of cycling it, there's enough studies and research to suggest that it's not going to harm you long term or anything like that. So you can just stay on it forevermore. That's just what you do. And even if I decided to come off it for a week, I still wouldn't load back up. I just don't see the point of it. I think it's not really a marketing tool because, again, the science is there. It just feels like a bit of a waste of time. Mostly, though, if you are struggling with creatine because you are suffering from one of the side effects it can give you, mostly bloating. That's the one that people hate the most, and I can understand why. What I would do is I'd knock creatine monohydrate on the head, and I'd try one of the other variants. And if you're really desperate to try and make it work for you, I would go through every single one. But if you just get to the point where it's not for you, that just sucks. It's not for you. Like, I'm not very good at drinking coffee. Caffeine doesn't like my body, so I have to accept, okay, I'm only going to have it here and there. And it may be exactly the same with you when it comes to creatine. But remember, if it's making you feel crap, then it's absolutely not worth it. For the 1-2% extra it's going to give you in the gym and the 1-2% extra it's going to give you when it comes to your progress, you'll feel far better if you feel good within yourself. And even then, your workouts are probably going to be better anyway, right? As opposed to, I feel absolutely terrible, I want to die. Moving on to the next question, which is, does everybody respond to creatine? And the answer, apparently, again, of just stuff that I've read, is no. Because there are people known as creatine non-responders, and the clue is in the name, that can literally just take creatine, and it just go through the system and they poop it out. So essentially, they're sending their money on flavored powder, which I suppose is good in one sense. But don't forget, there is a silver lining to all of this, because it stands to reason that if you are non-responding to taking a creatine supplement, it probably means that your muscles are already saturated enough in creatine. So you're still going to feel the athletic benefits, but you're just doing it naturally. Also, and take this one with a little pinch of salt, some people say that taking creatine is also going to help your memory, it's going to help your focus. So you probably could benefit from taking it in that sense, because maybe it will improve those areas. But like I say, to me, that's a little bit of a stretch. But yes, admittedly, there are reports out there that say up to 30% of people may actually be non-responders to creatine. But when you get into how many people they tested, it's small. So I think it's 30%. I think it's probably closer to 20%. But it doesn't even matter. Why do you care if it's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80? Even if it's 99.9%, okay, you're more likely to be in the 99.9%, but maybe you're in the 1%. The point is, you've got to try it for you and see how it works out. But again, there are side effects that can bloat you. Sometimes it can make you a little bit dehydrated, so make sure you're drinking a bunch of water. Some people say, oh my gosh, it made me put on loads of weight. But this is just, you're retaining water, right? Creatine can make you retain water. Go down like a liter of water or something in a normal, nice, casual way, and that will probably sort it out. But there's a bunch of stuff out there that is probably natural, because again, don't forget you have creatine in your system already. You're just boosting your levels. That when you do start increasing it, you just feel bad. That's what your body's telling you. Listen to your body. That is the most important lesson of all of this. Listen to your body and obey what it's telling you. It's not just mucking around. And if you need to go to a doctor for medical advice, go, because your health is the most important thing in the world. Some people worry about their kidneys as well, but I think this has pretty much been dispelled by this point. But could it happen to you? Of course it could. But that ties in to everything that I just said. So yes, creatine is a very simple supplement, really, that kind of gets hyped up because of the marketing machine that's behind it to make it kind of feel like it's a super drug. Like, what was that supplement that everybody took for ages? I can't remember now, but everybody bought it. And it was just like this intense hit of creatine and sugar. And they said, you must take it after every single workout. And like, it cost a fortune. I'm sure it did a job to a certain degree, but you didn't need it. Creatine monohydrate, nice cheap bag. You can find it everywhere. Again, most of your pre-workout's going to have it in there anyway. Take it however you need to on your off days. Probably don't take it with a pre-workout, but I suppose you could. It's up to you. Is it very good? Absolutely. I think it rocks. I think it's great. I think it's going to help you, which is what we're all looking for anyway. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the bell, ding, ding, so you know other videos are going live. There is another video on the screen, or will be in 1 second. Give it a click, because YouTube loves it, and it makes the channel better. I don't know why, that's just how YouTube works. Also on Instagram and Twitter at Simon316. Got a Patreon, patreon.com/Simon316. In Greg Doucette's Power 13 cookbook. Link in the description below. Use the code Simon15 for 15% off, but otherwise, just love yourself, man, because I love you, and I'll see you soon.